What's a topic that you're mildly ashamed to be an expert on? Number 1. Different fetishes. I've probably clocked 20 to 30 hours of researching different fetishes out of a morbid curiosity. I've had multiple genuine discussions of why people are into what they're into. Bestiality, gore, vor, foot fetishes, and so on. It's interesting just how many fetishes come from something that they saw when they were kids. One exception I know of is foot fetishes, which are actually a defect of how the brain is structured. Number 2. RuneScape. My brother and I have each put well over 20,000 hours into that game. To clarify, that's 2.5 years of time spent actually logged into the game. I sometimes wonder what I could have done had I never started playing. I recently quit, picked up a few new hobbies, and I'm already seeing a difference. My big 3 hobbies now are disc golf, running, and entrepreneurship. I'm still in school, but I've got a few ideas I'd like to perform feasibility tests for as potential businesses. As for disc golf and running, I've lost about 30 pounds since I started both at the beginning of the year, and I didn't change anything else I do. I still eat the same shit and drink the same amount of soda, and I know I could see an even bigger change if I dropped both of those, but starting a routine that got me out of the house, learning something new, was a big enough change already. I don't think it's so much walking a mile a day or running 3 hours a week that's lost me the weight, but rather all the times that I'd have snacked and haven't. So when I'm away from home, it's not as easy to just run upstairs and grab a can of Coke or a bottle of Powerade. So yeah, maybe I've been drinking less soda and snacking less because I'm busy doing something else. Number 3, Star Trek trivia. I'll be at a bar, someone starts talking about an episode of The Next Generation and draws a blank on the name of an alien race, and before I can ponder the ramifications vis-a-vis the likelihood of my getting laid, I'll blurt out, "Pack lids," and people just smile at me. Number 4, vomiting. I've vomited for years, everywhere, until I finally figured out the cause. It was complicated food allergies. I've vomited while dancing. Yeah, always carry an empty cup there, friends. I vomited in a street gate in front of John Cleese, in so many restaurants, car trips, after car trips, at weddings, and so on. If you need to know how to vomit discreetly, I know how to do it. That said, if you're vomiting all the time, yeah, it's probably a good idea to go see a doctor of some sort. Number 5. Last night, I drank most of a bottle of wine and sat up writing fan fiction till 3 in the morning. I'm a married mother fast approaching 30, and I still can't break away. Number 6. Pokemon. I can't remember half the crap in my life, but I can still name 800 plus Pokemon and who's good competitively, their abilities, stats, move sets, all of it. Number 7. BDSM. I dated a couple of women who made this their career choice. We had a grown about 50 Shades when it first came out. Yeah, it's completely screwed up about BDSM. Yes, we know about it. Yes, the general population will probably take this as fact, and yes, Christian Grey is an asshole. Number 8. Weddings. A few friends got married. I was the best man twice, different grooms, by the way. I was always the DJ and was always somehow involved in the general planning. It all just happened, and now I have a lot of knowledge and experience about weddings. Number 9. Dildos. I've never bought one or used one, but for some reason, information about dildos just comes to me. I've had so many friends ask me about toys or what's good and safe for your body, and I end up sending them to a few different sites based on what they're looking for. It tends to come in handy, surprisingly. Number 10. Not exactly an expert, but I know a lot about bed bugs. I've never had to deal with them in my home, but I worked with many tenants who had them and needed help dealing with their landlords. And because these tenants came to our office with occasional hitchhikers, we'll say, I had to learn how to prevent infestations and such. Yeah, people don't like talking about bed bugs, but they are pretty fascinating and ubiquitous. Number 11. Seasons 1 through 10 of The Simpsons. First, they played The Simpsons 3 times a day, every day throughout my childhood, and I never missed an episode. I remember when 9/11 happened, and I was all upset they didn't play my Simpsons for about a week afterwards. Then they started releasing them on DVD, and of course, I bought them. Through college, I would play the DVDs nonstop while I studied. Well, then I met a woman who became my wife who really loved The Simpsons too. So now every night since we've been married, we've laid in bed and watched at least an episode before we go to bed. I've seen these episodes probably hundreds of times each by now. We like to play a game where we can see who can guess the episode first based on the first moments of the show. And of course, we quote the show non-stop in our daily lives. Number 12. I'm a diet soda addict and have traveled extensively, and I can tell the difference in taste, or I think I can, between Diet Coke, also known as Coke Light, Coke Zero, and Pepsi Max in Switzerland, France, the UK, Japan, the US, and probably many others. So in case you're wondering, and I'm sure you are, French Pepsi Max tastes the best. Coke Zero is probably the most uniform in taste across borders, but there are slight differences. American Diet Coke tastes surprisingly good, much better than elsewhere. Diet Pepsi isn't worth mentioning. Number 13. Serial killers. I've been fascinated with them since I was a child, but it's not really the sort of thing you can just discuss in casual conversation. I knew and often spoke to my colleague for well over a year before he offhandedly mentioned Jeffrey Dahmer, and then we ended up having a 3-hour conversation about them. I was ecstatic. Number 14. SpongeBob. I watched it religiously growing up because my parents always worked, so I'd be at home with a babysitter and some cartoons. I still watch it religiously, honestly. But it's embarrassing when I quote SpongeBob as a joke and I'm laughing my ass off in the middle of Walmart because a cart screeched just a certain way to sound like Doodlebob. Number 15. I probably should be ashamed of this, but I'm really not. I'm an expert on adult diapers. Yeah, something went very wrong when I was developing sexually and I became unusually attracted to diapers just as an object. It's very strange, but when you think about it, it's a totally harmless fetish and I'm not really that embarrassed by it. But yeah, I know a lot about diapers. I've tried dozens of brands from all over the world. There are a million different characteristics in a diaper that make it good. Its absorbency, obviously, but the tapes are a big factor. How well they stay in place, the fit, whether they have standing leak guards or just outer leak guards, wetness indicators, elastic waistbands, whether the outer covering is smooth plastic or soft fabric, the design on the diaper, how discreet or obvious it is, whether the padding is shredded paper pulp or super absorbent polymer or a mixture of the two. I have very strong opinions on which diapers are the best, and there are also companies that make different diapers specifically for people with that fetish. Yeah, there are about 15 companies that make baby diapers in adult sizes. Yeah, those aren't really my thing because they feel like a costume rather than a real diaper, but there are so many of them and so many people buying them. It's pretty surprising how many people out there have diaper fetishes. Hey, thanks again for checking in. And before you go, be sure to like this video. And of course, we'd love it if you subscribed. And we'll see you soon right back here for the next one.